So we have a problem statement over here. This says that we have to find the largest element in the given array. So the array is given to us 2, 5, 7, 3, 1. We have to find the largest element over here, right? So these are like the problems that we are facing, in questions, that we have to find the largest, we have to find the smallest, we have to find second largest, second smallest, kth largest, kth smallest. So whenever we find face these kinds of questions, so let's try to understand the logic behind this, that how we'll be tackling this problem, right? Now this problem can have many solutions, right? You can think of like whatever is coming in my mind, I'll try to solve it with that way, but maybe there are some other ways that you can think of, right? So you can also feel free to explore yourself and try to figure out solutions which could be different from mine also, right? So the problem says that I have to find the largest element. Now the solution is pretty simple over here, right? I have to basically just search, or I just need to look in this array that which element is the largest over here, right? So what can I do? I simply need to check if this element is largest. Now largest than what? So initially I can say that let's say my initial largest, I can just call it max. So I'll say that a very small number, for example, because right now all the elements in this array are positive, so I can say that let's say -1 is the largest. Although there can be some element, like what if all the elements in this array are like in 100, like in negative, right? So we have this macro in C++, which is known as int min. You can like do it with that also. Let's say this int min. What is this int min? So we have this range for integers, right? So integer basically I guess ranges from 2 raised to the power -31 till 2 raised to the power 31, or I guess 2 raised to the power -31 -1, something like this. This is like the range of the integer, right? So the minimum number that I can have in the array is this one. Like I cannot have a number less than this number in the array, or I cannot in the integer, or I cannot have a number greater than this number in the integer. So can I say that initially the maximum number is int min, because whatever the number is gonna come later on in the array would be greater than this. Initially I say that this is the least smallest number, right? So initially I say that this int min is the sorry, not the smallest but the maximum, right? Like this is like I'm considering this as max, so whatever number is going to come later on is going to be greater than this, right? So what I'll do is I can simply say that okay, I will be having a loop, I will be iterating over this ARR, and let's say initially I will be over here. I'll check if my ith element of array, if that element is greater than my max element. If this condition is true, then what I need to do? I need to basically replace my max. So can I say that right now 2 is greater than max? Right? 2 is greater than max. So my max will become 2. So if my ith element of max, if ith element of array is greater than max, what I'll do? I'll replace the value of max with what? So max will become my ARR of ith element. So this is the logic that I need to perform over here. So then I go again, I'll check in the next like number of the loop of the array. So 5. I'm checking if my 5 is greater than max. Yes, 5 is greater than max. So what I'll do? I'll replace it with 5. Again, is 7 greater than max? Yes. So I'll replace it with 7. Is 3 greater than max? No. So I'm not going to replace it. Is 1 greater than 7? No. So I'm not going to replace it. So at the end, whatever the number is present in the max would be the maximum element of the array, right? So this is the core logic that is going to be applied on this. So what I need to do is I just simply need to use a for loop for, I'll go till I will start from 0 and it will go till the size, and it will keep checking. If this condition is true, then it is gonna do this, and at the end I'm just gonna return my maximum element. So this is my pseudocode over here. So now we will go and we will try to write this code. Okay, so here we are. I have created this file, and let us try to write the code for this. So what I'll do is I'll create a function. Now this function will be responsible for maybe like whenever I call this function is going to take a array as an input, and it is going to find the maximum element out of that array, right? So I'm just going to create a function of type int, and let's call it find largest. And this is going to take an array as an input, and whenever I call this function, this will be taking an or maybe one size also. I'll just pass size. Okay, so whenever I call this find largest, I need to pass an array, I need to pass in size, and this is gonna give me the value of the largest element present in the array. So very simple. What I'll do is I will first say that there will be a max element. I will initialize it with the minimum value, right? So I'll run a loop for int I equals to 0, I is less than size, and I plus plus. So this loop is gonna run, and what is the logic over here? I'll say that if the ith element of array, so array of I, is greater than my max element, what I need to do? I need to replace the value of max with the ith element of the array. And once I have done with the iteration, I will return max. That's it. So this is the logic for finding the largest element in the array. Let's try to run it also. So I'll create an int arr of size maybe 5, and the values would be 25731. So 25731. So let me just call this cout find largest, and I need to pass an array, so my array will be arr and size would be 5. You can make it more dynamic, but this is just for the starters. Let us try to run it now, and let's see, the output would be 7. We can also like print a message over here. Largest element is like this. So if I run it again, the largest element is 7. If I have something like 100 over here, if I try to run now, so the largest element is 100. So this function that we have created over here, you can call this function anywhere, and this is going to give you the largest element which is present in any array. Okay, so the next question that comes up over here is that we have to find the second largest element in the given array. So second largest, we have already seen how to find the largest element in the array. Now we have to find the second largest. So let's try to think about the approach that we can follow in order to solve this, right? So the first thing that comes to my mind would be maybe I can sort this array. Like this approach can also be done in the previous question also, right? Like we can sort this array. So if I sort this array, what would be the output over here? I can just say that after sorting, the output would be 1, 2, 3, 5, and 7. Now after sorting this array, obviously I can say that the largest element will be at the end, and the second largest element will be like the n minus 1. So obviously with the help of this I can solve this question. But what if I have duplicate elements over here? What if I have let's say another 5 over here, right? Or maybe not 5, let's say 7 over here. What if I have duplicate elements? Then how will this array look like? The last element will be 7, second last will also be 7. So I will not be able to find the second largest element like in this way, right? What if I have some array which is like 2, 3, 3, 3, right? Obviously the second largest element over here is 2, but if I try to like look from the last element over here, so I'm getting 3. 3 is not the second largest, 3 is not the second largest, 3 is not the second largest. So this my approach might not be useful when we have duplicate elements, right? So I need to think of something to overcome come this issue, right? It's actually simple, right? Let's try to understand the logic over here now. So let's say the array is also having a 7 over here, let's say. Okay, so let's say this is my array, it is having duplicate elements. Now instead of sorting, what I can try to do over here is, maybe I can just first of all figure out the largest element that I have in my array, right? So maybe I can just run one for loop, and this for loop will find me the maximum element, max element, right? So when I run this for loop, it is gonna give me the output as 7. Let's figure out the way to find the largest. That's but we know what will be the output over here, right? We will get 7 over here. Now what I can do is I can again run a for loop. After this, I can again run a for loop, and this for loop will basically be starting from this index over here, right? And it will check if this element over here is I can create some another variable to check. Let's say I have created this variable over here, let's call it max. So I can just keep comparing it with the max element, right? If this, so initially my max will be int min, right? So I can keep comparing this 2 with, is my 2 greater than int min? Yes. So I can replace it with 2, right? And I will also keep checking if that is smaller than my greatest element, right? So whatever the element I get from over here, right? So let's call it, so this will be second max and this will be max. So max is 7 and second max is 2 for now. Then I go to the next part, 5. Is 5 greater than my second max? Yes. So I will replace it. And is it less than my max? Yes. So I will replace it with the 2, right? Then I go to 3. I will check if the 3 is greater than 5. No. So I will not replace it. I'll go on the next up. 7. Is 7 greater than 5? Yes. But I should not replace this. Why? Because this is already the max element over here. So this is the catch that we need to find over here. We already have the max element find out. We do not need to replace the second max with 7 over here. So we will check if this element over here is greater than the current max element. And we will also be checking that is this element should not be the current max element. So two conditions we need to check over here, right? So we will skip 7 over here. Then we will go to 1. Is 1 greater than 5? No. So we will just skip it. 7. Is 7 greater than 5? Yes. But is 7 max? Yes. So I will not replace it with 7. It should be less than max. The element should, let's say 5. So 5 is less than max, right? And it was greater than the current second max. So how will this look like? Let me just write it again clearly. So basically what we did was we basically just figure out a max element over here. We will iterate over the array, and initially we will say this will be my int min. Int min, let's say this is my max currently. So we will go over here. Is this greater than int min? Yes. So we'll replace it. So I will replace the max with 2. Then I will go to 5. Is 5 greater than max? Yes. Replace it. Is 3 greater than max? No. Go again. 7 greater than yes. Replace it. 1 greater than 7? No. 7 greater than 7? No. So this will be my greatest element or the maximum element that I will found in my first for loop iteration. In my second for loop, what I will do is I will maintain another variable. Let's call it second max, and initially it will be int min. Int min. And how will I do it? How will I replace this variable over here? I need to check if the current element of the array is greater than the second max. If my array of I is greater than s of max. If this is true, then I will again check another condition. The another condition would be it should also be the array of I should also be less than my max element. So if these both conditions are true, then only I will replace my second max. So these are the conditions. So now let's go back again to the array and let's see, is 2 greater than int min? Yes. Is 2 less than my max? Yes. So I will replace it with 2. Is 5 greater than 2? Yes. Is 5 less than 7? Yes. So I will replace it with 5. Is 3 greater than max? No. So I will skip it. Is 7 greater than this? Yes. But is it less than my max? Right? I am checking over here. Is this, if I put it over here, so 7, is 7 greater than 7? Sorry, this one. Is 7 greater than 7? No. So I will not replace this 7 over here. So I will move forward. I'll go to 1, false. I'll go to 7, false. So this is my second max element over here. So this is a very simple way we have figured out the second largest element in the array. And now let's try to write the code for this. So let's write the code now, and we'll be using the same file. We have already understood the logic of finding the largest. Now let's create another method which will be helpful for finding the second largest. So I'm going to say find second largest. It is again going to take one array as an input, and it is going to take size. So firstly I need to find the largest first of all, right? So the logic will be pretty much same that we have done previously. Let me just create a max and initialize it with int min, and I will also create s max. Let's just for the indication of second max, and again I'm going to initialize it with int min. So let me just run a loop quickly over here. For int I equals to 0, I is less than size, and I plus plus, and I'm just going to check if the ith element of array is less than is greater than the maximum element over here. So I need to replace it. So I'm going to say max will be array of ith element. So I will be able to find the maximum element with the help of this line of code. Once I have found the maximum element over here, what I need to do, I need to basically check for the condition that we have discussed over here, that the second max element should be greater than the ith element should be greater than the second max. So currently second max is int min. So I need to run another loop over here. So I'm going to say for int I equals to 0, I is less than size, and I plus plus. So what should be the condition over here? If the ith element of the array is greater than the second max. Okay, one more condition I need to check over here, and the ith element of array, it should not be the maximum element. Only in this case we will replace it, right? So the ith element should be greater than the s max, and it should not be the maximum element. In this case, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to say second max element would be my ith. So I have updated the value over here, right? And now let me just save it, and let's try to run it over here. So second largest element is find second largest. Let's run it, and the second largest element is coming as 1. Okay, something is wrong. Let me just check quickly. I guess I have not returned anything over here, so I need to return second max. So there it is. Let us run it again, and second largest element is 7. So you can check over here, my second largest element is 7. So we have figured out the largest element or second largest element over here on the similar terms. What you can do next is you can find the find second smallest. So this would also be pretty much same. Okay, so this would be a task for you guys to attempt this question and to find the second smallest element over here. Okay, so we have another question with us. The question is asking us to find the missing number in an array. So we are given an array which is having a number which is missing from the series, right? So we have to find that missing number over here. So let's see how we can solve this problem. So the first solution that might occur in your mind would be that maybe, let's say there are there are n numbers which are given to us in the array, right? So we just have to find the number which is not present over here. Maybe what I can do is I can create another array of the same size, and let's say like this. So it is gonna have 1 2 3 4 5, all the elements will be there in the array till the n. So maybe what we can do is we can iterate over this array, and we can see that okay, 1 is present in this array, so we will mark this as true, and then we can go to the next one. So 2 is present, so we'll mark this as true. Then we go to 4 and we'll mark this as true, and then 5, mark this as true. So the element which is left over here is 3, so we will know that 3 is the missing number. This could be one approach that you can follow, but in this approach we are using extra space, right? We are creating some extra array over here, and then we are iterating on the first array, and then we are iterating on the other array. So maybe we can try to decrease the complexities over here. So let's try to come up with a better solution. So we have seen that we are given this series of first n numbers, right? It is starting from 1 and it is going till n. So if you guys have studied this formula maybe in school or something, so we know that the sum of n natural numbers, the formula to calculate the sum of first n natural numbers would be n into n plus 1 by 2, right? So in this case we the n is we have the n over here is 5, right? So first 5 natural numbers I have to calculate the sum. So it would be 5 into 6 by 2, 30 by 2, it would give us 15. So we know that if I have the sum of first 5 natural numbers, it would be 15 over here, right? So this is one thing that I have got. Second thing what I can do is I can just simply iterate over this array, and maybe what I can do is I can find the sum of the array, right? So I just can iterate over this array from I equals to 0 till the size of the array, and what I can do is I can just find the sum. So how will I calculate the sum? Obviously I'll create a sum variable, I'll put it to 0 in the beginning, and then I will just keep doing plus equals to ith element, and at the end we will just return the sum. So we will get a sum out of this from this for loop, right? So can I say over here that let's say the sum of this array, what would be the sum of this array? So I will get 1 plus 2 plus 4 plus 5, so 9 11 and 12. So the sum that I will get over here is 12, right? And at the end what I can try to do is the sum of n natural numbers minus the sum of array. So this will give me 15 minus 12, this will give me 3. So isn't this the missing number over here, right? So we can find the missing number over here by this formula. So we have to just calculate the sum of n natural. So whatever the n is, we will calculate the sum of natural numbers, n natural numbers, with this formula. We will calculate the sum of this array with this formula, and at the end we can apply this formula and we will get our answer over here. That's pretty simple, and I hope we are able to understand the how we are like thinking the logic of this problem, and it is a bit optimized also than the previous solution, and maybe we can try to write the code for this now. So let's see. Okay, so now let's try to write the formula over here. So we are given an array, so let's create an array over here. So my array would be of size 4, and it would be 1 2 4 4 and 5. So this is the array given to us. Let's create a method over here. So this method will be responsible for calculating the like finding the missing number out of any array, right? So I'm just gonna create a array over here, and this is gonna return me a number over here, the missing number. So I'm gonna create int, let's call it missing number, and this is gonna take array as an input and maybe the size also as the input, right? So what do I need over here is, I first of all need to calculate the sum of n natural numbers. So whatever the n I have, so whatever the size I, instead of size, let's just call it n. Let's say n is the size, right? So I need to calculate the size of n natural numbers. So first of all, we'll write the formula for that. So I'm going to say that there will be a variable, let's call it n sum, for n natural number sum, and this is going to calculate with the formula. So formula would be n into n minus 1 divided by 2 divided by 2. So okay, so this will be the formula for calculating the first n natural numbers. And I will also have another variable, let's call it let's just call it sum, simple, like the sum of the array. So initially it will be 0. What I need to do now is simply just I'll run a loop from int I equals to 0, I is less than n, and then I plus plus, and then I'll just say that when I am iterating over the loop, I'm just doing sum plus equals to the ith element of the array. So I'm just adding the ith element in that in the sum over here, right? So yeah, I guess this will give me the sum over here. Now what I need to do is I need to basically say that whatever the sum of the n natural numbers is, so I will get that from the n sum. So I'm just gonna say that my formula would be n sum minus sum. This is the formula. I'll store it somewhere, or maybe I can just simply return this thing. So whatever this thing is gonna return me, that will be my answer. So now let's call the method over here. So I'm gonna call missing number, and this is going to take an array, the array we have created over here, and the size. So size would be 5. Because we are calculating for the 5 number, like the size would for the 5 we are calculating this, right? So I'm just going to see out this, and let's see the output over here. So the output is some garbage value. Okay, so there is some issue over here. Let's check. So we are saying the sum. Okay, so this should be n into n plus 1. Yeah, n plus 1 by 2. Let's run it again. Again I'm getting error. So n into n plus 1 by 2, the sum is 0. Then I have iterated my loop till n, and then I'm just basically adding the value of sum plus equals to array of I. This is fine. Okay, yeah, so basically we have to pass the size over here 5, or even if you don't pass the size over here, then it's also fine, like array will automatically pick up the size from here. But yes, we can just pass the size 5 over here, and now if I try to run it, then the output would be 3. So the 3 is the number that is missing, and we have got our output. Okay, so the next question says that we have to find the pair sum. So we are given an array over here, and inside this array we have to find two numbers whose sum is equal to the target, right? So as we can see over here, let's say if I say 2 plus 1, so it is going to give me 3. So this is going to give me 3. Thus 3 is not equals to 4, right? Then I have to check like this in the entire array if there are any two numbers exist whose sum is equals to 4. So if I say 2 plus 1, and if I do 2 plus 3, if I do 2 plus 4, if I do 1 plus 3, so yes, the sum is 4. So if I have two numbers present in my array whose sum is equals to the target, so I will return true. If there are no two numbers which are present over here, so I'll return false. As simple as that. So the first thing that comes to my mind would be the thing that I was doing right now. So maybe I can say over here that I can run a nested loop over here. Maybe in the outer loop, I can run the outer loop from I starting from the 0th index and going till the size of the array. And inside that loop, what I can do is I can run another loop so that j will start from I plus 1 and it can go till size. And what I can simply check over here is, so let's say this is my bracket over here. So what I can simply check over here is if the ith element of array plus the jth element of array is equals to target. That's it. If anywhere I found this as true, if this condition is true, so what I'll do is I will return true. I'll say yes, I have found my target. The two numbers, the sum of that is equal to target. So I will just return true over here. If not, if I come out of this loop, so I'll just return false. So here the another for loops ends. So if I just come out of the loop, I'm just going to return false. That's it. As simple as that. So I have basically said that there are two loops running over here. So this outer loop is running n times. This is also running n times. So obviously my complexity will be big of n square over here. So I am basically just saying that for each element I'm gonna for let's say this element 2 over here, I'm going to check the entire array. If there are any number which is present in the array which plus the 2 is equals to 4, right? And if not, then I will just go over here and I will start doing it with 1 and I'll check the entire array if there are any number whose sum is equals plus 1 equals to 4 or not. So this is one solution that you can try out. You can just write the code for this and see if you are able to write this code. We're gonna go to the other approach and let's try to figure out how we can solve that approach, which is maybe a bit simpler, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna write this over here again, paste it over here. So this is this question over here. So what I can do is maybe a better solution that I can think of over here is that I can use a two-pointer approach over here, right? So how will the two-pointer approach will look like? Let's have a look at that now. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna first of all sort my array. Why do I need to do the sorting of my array? We will see in a bit, but let's say first of all I will just sort it. So after sorting, array will look something like this: 1, 2, 3 and 4, right? So once I have my array sorted 1, 2, 3, 4, what I can do is I can use two pointers over or two variables over here, right? So let's say the first variable I use is I, and I will put the ith variable on the 0th index, and I will use another variable, let's call it j, and I will put that at the last index. Okay, now what I will check is I will check if array of I plus array of j equals to target or not. So if in this case I get my answer, obviously I'll return true. But if I don't get the answer over here, so what is j plus I over here? So j plus I is giving me 5. So right now the target is 5. So I see that the target over here is greater than the current target that I need to find. So obviously what I need to do is my current sum of two numbers in the array is already greater. I need to reduce the sum. So what I can do is I can decrement the j, because obviously if I have j element as greater element, if I reduce the value of j, then my sum can be the lower one, right? So there is no sense in increasing I again. If I increase the I, then 4 plus 2 will be 6. It will be like much greater than this, right? So if I already have the value of the sum greater than the target value, I can decrease the sum value, right? How can I decrease? I can just decrement the j. So now if I do it again, so now if I in the second approach, if I check it, so what is this? So it is going to give me 3 plus 1 4. So yes, 3 plus 1 4 is the answer, because this is my target over here and I have got the target. So in this case I will return true, right? So the approach here goes something like this, that I will be having a pointer at the 0th index, I will be having a pointer or a variable at the last index. I will check the sum of I and j. If the sum is greater If the sum is greater than the target, then obviously I will do j minus minus. If the sum is less than the target, then what we will do? We will do I plus plus, because my sum is already less, so I need to increase the sum. So I will increment my pointer. Otherwise, I will decrement my pointer. Right? So this could be the approach I can follow to solve this question over here. Now let's try to write the code for this, and let's see if we are getting the answer or not. So let's start over here, and now just for your practice, maybe we can like go towards a vector a bit, like it's a dynamic array, right? So we're gonna be solving this question with the help of vector over here, right? So let's try to see how we can solve it. So let's say I have a method that I need to basically create in order to find the pair sum of any given vector, right? So I'm just gonna create a bool. Let's call it pair sum. The method name is pair sum, and this is gonna take a vector as a parameter, right? So I'm just gonna pass over here as a vector of type integer, and let's just call it vec, and then I'm also gonna pass a size over here, and also maybe a target. Like I also need to define that this is my target, so I'm just gonna pass it over here. I also need to include vector hash include vector. Yeah, so now let's try to write the logic for this. So first thing that I need to do was I need to sort the array or sort the vector. So how would I sort a vector? Very simple. Again, I can simply use this function sort. Okay, so what I need to sort? I need to sort my vector vec. So I will say that vec, how will I sort it? From begin and vec end, like this. Okay, now I have this vector sorted. Now what I'll do is I'll take two variables. Let's call it I, and this will be at 0. It will be at the beginning of the vector, and I'm going to create another variable. Let's call it j, which will be at the last index. So it will be at size -1. Okay, now what I need to do is I need to just let me just go back. So I just need to say over here that my I will depending on this condition over here, either my I will increment or my j will decrement. But till when do I need to keep incrementing and decrementing it? Until they don't cross each other, right? If I is here, j is here, obviously I don't want I here and j here. This should not happen. So what I will do is I will make sure that my loop is working until the value of I is less than j, right? So while I is less than j, until then I will run the loop. And what will my loop do over here is it will just say that there will be a, let's say, variable sum, and sum will be vector I plus vector j. So I and j, we will add both of the elements, and that will be stored in the sum. Now I will check if the value of my sum is equals to the target, then yes, I have found my answer. The sum is equals to target, I have found my answer. So what I'll do in that case is I will just say I'm gonna return true. Yes, I got a true over here, right? If not, so I'll just come back from here and over here I will say else if the value of the sum is not equal to the target. So what I need to check is if the value is greater than or less than. So if the value of sum is less than the target, so what do I need to do in this case? My sum value is less. So what I need to do is I need to basically increment, I need to increase the sum. So I need to increment the I. So I'll do I plus plus. Else I'll just do j plus plus, because else means sum is greater than target over here, right? Sorry, j minus minus. I need to decrement it. Okay, so if I like don't find the answer, if I have iterated the entire the loop has been done, like I and j's, you know, completed their iterations. If I don't find the answer, then I'll just return false at the end. Okay, so now let's try to run over here. Let's create a vector int, let's call it vec, and the values would be 2, 1, 3 and 4. And let's call this method over here. So I'm just gonna see out pair sum. So it is going to take the reference of a vector, so I'm going to pass vector over here. It is going to take the size, so size would be 4 over here, and it is going to take the target, so target is again 4 over here. Okay, so if I try to run this and let's see the answer, so answer coming is 1. 1 means true, yes, it exists. If I try to say that sum is 40 and let's try to run it again, so the output is 0, so 0 means false. Now you can make it a better representation over here. You can just keep a check that if the value is coming as true, then maybe, like for example, if I just try to say over here what are the answer I'm getting, so I'm just gonna store that in answer, right? And I can make a check over here that if I found the answer, if answer is true, right? So I'm just gonna say if answer equals to true, I can just write if answer, that this also means true. So in this case, I'm just going to see out element is not present, but sum of two numbers is equal to target, and else we're gonna see out let us clear this out. So else we're gonna see out sum of the number is not equal to the target. So if I now run this, so output would be sum of the numbers is not equal to targets, because the target is 40. If the target is 4, and if I run this, so sum of two numbers is equal to target. So yes, we are getting whatever you want to write over here, you can write that and you will get the answer. So this is the logic. We are just simply checking if I get the sum equals to target, we will gonna return true. And how will we checking it? With the help of INJ, right? If I don't go in this line of code, then I'm gonna check if the value sum is less than or greater than the target. If the sum is less than, then I need to increase the value of sum. How can I increase? I can send my I variable to the next one, because in the sorted array, the next one will be the higher value. No? If I am not getting if the value of sum is already greater, I need to reduce the value of it. So I'll just decrement the JF pointer. So this is the main logic for solving this question over here.